Hi there, I'm Bob from Creation Station. This is Tech Talk Weekly, our weekly show where we talk about three or four interesting tech topics in the news, get you on your way with a fun library fact, wrap it up in about 15, 20 minutes. As always, if you have a story you would like us to talk about, Creation Station at broward.org comes right to me, and we'll try and get them on the air. Today, I've got Miss Bonnie from Dania. How are you doing, Bonnie?
I'm doing great, Bob. I'm looking forward to our discussions.
How are things out there at Dania?
Sunny and
Good.
hot.
Yeah. Yeah. For anybody who's watching this in the future, we have just finished going through Ian down here in South Florida. It is still hitting northern Florida as we are recording this, so hopefully everybody stays safe out there.
Yes.
We will do our best. We've got a fun couple of stories to start off though today. This is one of those weird stories in the news. Throwing baby puffins off of cliffs. It's just there's something kind of cute and funny about this one, isn't there?
I think so, but maybe
We're
the puffins.
oh, I think the puffins do. I think the puffins are perfectly happy with this. If you live in Florida, you are familiar with turtle nesting and how we try to do a better job down here of having lights dimmed or pointed away from the beaches and stuff so that when baby turtles hatch, they don't get distracted and they go out to the sea and they go out to the moon, see the moon and go out and hatch and go off into the ocean. Turns out puffins have the same problem. And so out in Iceland, they often have these little baby puffins that can't make it out into the ocean on their own. And so a nearby village has just made it their thing that every year they go out and they throw the puffins off the cliff.
Yeah, it was interesting because I looked to see where else puffins are, and they're found in different places: England, Scotland, Alaska. But this island in Iceland has the largest population in the world. So this is the puffin mecca.
Yeah.
1 million per season
Is that a
nest
crazy
here.
number?
Yeah.
You wonder how many used to be there before we messed up everything. But hopefully, you know what? At least people are doing a good job and trying to help them out. You can see here's these cliffs that they're throwing them off of because they need to practice to fly. And then they land down in if they don't fly right, they land in the water and they're okay because puffins can swim.
They're cute. They're cute. Uh, One thing I found, the gentle way was an underhand toss versus, stretching their
Yeah.
wings out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No major league pitchers out there with curveballs throwing them out there.
Well, what was interesting though, they said it was better to get them during the day because
Yeah.
at night they get more confused. So if you're walking around,
And it's harder to find them too. Yeah.
well,
I
yes.
agree. Yeah.
So
You know what? Speaking of hard to find, you would think floppy disks and fax machines would be pretty hard to find, but apparently not in Japan.
that's where
In
they all
Japan,
live.
yeah. Excuse me. So in Japan, they've put in a new person in charge of trying to modernize a lot of the government agencies who are still stuck using flash drive, and they're not moved to flash drives. They're still using floppy disks to do things with. Um, I was amazed when I read this one. Isn't this crazy, Bonnie?
Well, I'll tell you what, I did a little more research on it. It turns out they have one of the largest elderly populations in the world in
Yeah.
Japan.
As a
I,
percentage of their population, yeah.
yeah, and so a lot of people just still use the phone. It's like going back 30 years in time.
For us,
And,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
then they want to give them the fast forward now. So you wonder how long it's going to take them because they're kind of tasked, aren't they, with doing, catching up in the next, couple
Yeah.
of year or
Yeah, they're supposed to have a list of things drawn up and accomplished within the next year and however many they're going to bring people in. Yeah, I found that. I mean, I talk on the phone to some people, but not on a regular basis. If I can avoid it, I will, just because I can do so much more. I can put in a help ticket, I can do all these various things. Unless it's something I need immediate help this second on, or talking with friends, that's it.
text. You always call at the wrong time.
I know.
Hey,
Exactly.
when's
I do so much more. And I thought it was just really interesting how they have really tried to stay away from things. Um, and because they've intentionally kept things so unaware in a way, they had an 87% spike in ransomware attacks across the country.
well, they need to get busy with those passwords.
Yes,
Two-step verification.
exactly.
Uh,
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it's one of those things, and it's an interesting article. This is from Rest of World, one of our favorite sources for finding stories that are United States, non-Western ideas. Um, they talk about the idea of, is this guy really focusing on the Japanese market as much as he is with the English market? Because he's got his dual language um, social media stuff seeming to go in two different directions. So.
Hmm. I thought it was interesting. They talked about a digital cliff by 2025. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh no, impending doom. If we haven't got there by then, we're just gonna, you know, but
Yeah,
okay.
3 years seems pretty quick.
It just
2025
seems like
sounds like a far off
97 for
time, but
us,
it's only 3. Yeah.
Remember printers with the little
Yeah. Printing is
on the
evil. Don't
side
do it.
with
Just
little
don't
dots
do
on the
it.
side?
Yeah.
Rip off the.
And no, 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 no printing. No. Another one out there to think about new things as we're trying to move forward on this. Amazon's starting to replace their robots.
Mm.
So it's not that humans are being replaced by robots. The robots are being replaced by robots. And their newest ones can do 1,000 items in an hour. Instead of using, let me see if, yeah, here we go. We've got the quick little video of it here. So instead of using um, just the big bulk things you can see here, it's got the little pincher hands now, and it can grab individual items, pick them up off of the carts, and box them.
I don't know. And then they talked about suction versus pinchers, but then they don't, but then they talked about the concept of finding ketchup in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
They're not sentient. They don't, they can't gauge what they're looking at, and they're held back to 2 pounds or less.
Yeah.
So,
So what happens is the grasping hands can only pick up something that's 2 pounds or less. The suction hands, it's basically just like a little plunger that puts down and goes, can pick up much heavier things. But because it's a more brute force kind of idea, then you can possibly ruin or larger packages or tear labels off of things and stuff. So it can only be used in certain circumstances when you've got boxes that you're moving and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, all those things you
this
hear about, the horrible things you hear about Amazon warehouses, people getting injured all the time because they're moving too fast or they're bending and doing. The robots are doing that all now. So now people are just basically standing in place, which has its own issues, and helping to pack the boxes.
But then there was something in there that they talked about, but if by speeding it up so much, they could actually injure the workers because they're trying to keep up with them.
Yep.
So,
Yep. I want to see if I can find a picture of. I don't think I have it here handy. The picture of the other robots that go underneath. Yeah, I don't have it here. They've got another set of robots that's like a industrial type of Roomba that actually picks up shelving and drags the shelving back and forth to bring just the right amount of shelves with the right amount of gear right to the spot.
Right, maybe, was that in the other article?
Yeah.
Maybe,
Yep.
because
Yeah.
the
It just
other article was interesting too.
yeah. Oh, there's Amazon is one of those companies that is just so big and they have so many little different possibilities that they're working at. I don't think any way anybody in the company knows what everything is going on.
Well, robotics in of itself, I mean, if you're going to invest in something, robotics is definitely something that's going to take off. The
Yeah.
question is, how long is it going to take? They're kind of alluding to the fact that the learning curve will be shorter than we think, which is possible. I mean, once they find
We have the new robot here at Maine Library and the Temi robot that goes around and helps customers, and customers have got used to walking up to it and asking where to go to go find books and stuff like that. Within the first 48 hours, customers were just using it, and no staff's been helping them. It's just customers know how to use them. It's great.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
oh, I'm gonna have to come down and see if I can
It's
confuse.
pretty cool. Yeah, we had it up on the third floor right now. It's going to go out to some of the other branches coming up here in the fall to test it and put it in real world circumstances and test
Right.
out all sorts of things. It's fun.
Yeah, with the article, they said Amazon's saying, hey, we're just doing this to help our workers.
Yeah.
But then there's suggestion from the unions that that may not be completely true.
Yeah, I think it's always an interesting thing. There are always, it's kind of like I always compare it to the buggy whip makers. The Model T came out and horses went away, and the people who made the buggy whips either adapted and changed and became car mechanics, or they moved on. With the robot stuff here, there's still a lot of training, a lot of things to do, but everybody should be paying attention to, well, what is your position? What can you do? How can you, do something more creative in your position so that those things. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago with AI and artists. So yeah, there's a lot of possibilities out there.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Technology and art is an interesting concept. Oh, my
This
favorite.
was the coolest thing. So last week we told you that DART was going to happen, and it actually happened. And I am certain you have seen most of these things, but I want to show at least this one video here as it's coming along, and bam, you can see the shock wave come right off of the asteroid as DART hits it. It's just craziness.
So that was filmed by the little Italian
Yeah, this here is from the
satellite that
Atlas, right? This is from the Atlas telescope. Now, we're going to get a lot more of this stuff fully refined soon, because they actually had a second spacecraft following behind to film all this also. And some of the pictures of, like, well, let's just jump right up here to this one. This is one of the last pictures before it actually smashes into the asteroid. And there are just some gorgeous things. Here's the one of them as it gets right into, oh, stop.
there it's always
Yeah,
there.
yeah, 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 yeah. We'll find another. Let me find another one real quick here. Make
You
me
know what
watch
I
the ad
love?
again. Come on now, people's.
On Google, if you Google DART mission, it shows it hitting the asteroid in cartoon form.
Yep.
And then the whole page for Google goes kind of sideways.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
it's awesome. There's just so many cool things. We put up several different links in the show notes for you guys, so you can get some ideas about what's going on with where and how. It is just really amazing.
What I found interesting about the dart was it's like 1,300 pounds or so. Okay. And here it is going about 14 to 1,500 miles an hour, depending on which
1,000 miles an hour.
article you read.
Yeah, yeah.
It hits, and it's hitting something that weighs 11 billion pounds. Now it's only 525 feet in diameter. The second,
Meters.
is it meters? Okay.
Yeah.
But
right. And
They're
one of the cool,
only
yeah,
supposed to move fractionally.
yep, yep. And one of the really fun things that they're going to really discover about this is we are beginning to find out that asteroids, because we all think about them, from the movies and from previous things, if there's all these balls of rock and it's just this big chunk of rock floating out there that you land on or whatever. And it turns out a lot of these asteroids aren't like that. A lot of these asteroids are basically like mud-ish with a bunch of rocks just held together by a little bit of spinning and gravity. And as soon
Mm.
as you smash into it, that's what that one video. Look at how much stuff just gets ejected from the surface of the asteroid with just that one nudge.
So the cool thing is because it's a binary, it's a smaller one rotating around the bigger one. They'll be able to gauge it quicker as to how
Yeah.
much fractionally it's changed. But the question becomes, how much advance warning do you get? Now, back in 2005, Congress ta
Uh-huh.
tasked
Yep.
tasked tasked NASA with finding all of them by 2020. And they think
We
they're
didn't
gonna get
come
about
close.
30 more years. They didn't,
Yeah.
they got about 80%, something like that. But,
They have 80% of the known near miss ones.
right,
So far, they have not found any that are on a direct hit with us. But as you said, they've only got 80% of the ones that they know are going to be close, come close to us.
and
That leaves a
that
heck of a
took
lot of them
3
out there.
months to get there. They set it up at
Yeah.
Thanksgiving last year, and it took 3
Yep,
months
yep,
to
yep.
get there. So how much time, you gotta be way ahead of the curve, and the
Yep,
question
you
is,
got to be
how long
prepared.
did this take to build? Did it say?
This one took quite a while because it's the first of its kind. So yeah, this is not Armageddon the movie where
I
you
know.
just drop a couple of people in a spaceship, fly them
Operations.
up there, and it's done. It's like, no, you need a lot more work on this kind of stuff going on.
But,
And tell me, go Bonnie, tell me.
well, no, it's good to know that they're thinking proactively,
Yeah,
because they can look forward in time, right? And they're not looking at something that's going to hit holy cow next week. They're thinking about 50, 100 years from now and trying to deflect it early.
yeah, and that's why you see a lot of these news organizations say asteroid heading towards Earth, and then when you actually read the article, it's like, yeah, and it's going to miss us by 500
Yeah.
million miles or something like that because they just see that it's coming this way, but there's all space is big. And speaking of that, you brought us two really cool sites there, Bonnie. Here's this one that is part of Google, and it's a Explore the Solar System. And it is artsandculture.google.com. And when you go there, they've got a lot of different types of things out there. But if you come here for this, there is all sorts of stuff to learn about space and about doing and how to build and go. You can download an app on your phone to use for it, or you can do it on the computer. Full simulations, all sorts of really, really good, fun things to do. I'm going to load this up real fast. Is it going to reload for me? No. Okay, there we go. There we go. There we go. And so here's the Parker probe. If you've seen some of the very fun video coming out over the last few months from the sun and why it looks a lot different than you thought it did, and it's because we're finding out that, yeah, things do look really different than we thought. So this is definitely one of those things you need to go explore, go play around with. And by the way, you can go to the NASA site and download the 3D modeling for these various things like the Parker Solar Probe and bring it to the library and we'll print it for you so you can have your own model of the spaceship. So,
Oh, neat.
yeah, isn't it? Yeah, we got
Yeah.
some really great stuff going on. And then you found this other one also, which is amazing.
Celebrate the moon.
Got it, yeah. And this is so simple and easy. You don't need any technology. You don't need anything. Just remember Saturday night, if there's no clouds around, hopefully there'll be very few clouds. Everybody's supposed to go outside and look at the moon. It's going to be in the first quarter. just like it
bigger.
shows in the graphic here. That's what your moon's going to look like. And they're trying to get everyone all around the planet, all 7 continents, at least 122 different countries to participate like they did last year. And they're trying to go over 1 million people this year going outside to watch the moon.
I'll go outside. And
It's a Saturday
they
night.
have
Come on, folks.
there's like a website. So if, as often happens when, for
Yep.
different evening events, we get rained out. Yay.
There's going to be a live stream.
Go look
Yep.
online. Yeah.
Yeah. And this link will be right there on our show notes for you, so you can go watch it for this upcoming Saturday, October 1st. And there is a live stream link, so you can see what NASA's different feeds from around the planet are. And everybody gets a chance to do it. 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's a nice day. Take a date, get a blanket, go out and look at the moon.
Or stay in and stream it if you can't get out. And
Get outside. Get outside, everybody. Go on out.
I mean, if we have another monsoon,
We're not going to have it. No. Oh, no monsoons, no rains, no nothing. Nope, we're done. We're done for.
I think we're done.
Give us at least another 2 weeks.
One can only hope, right?
We're used to this in Florida, folks. We do this a lot. Thank you for being here, responding. See, we just flew right past a whole 20 minutes episode right there. Is that crazy?
Oh, I could keep talking.
One last thing, you didn't brag. Out there at Dania, you've got your birding kits. You've got your own science kits out there that people can come check out.
Yes. Chris set up a while back now, the birding kits. They come with binoculars for adults and children and a little field guide, and it comes in a backpack, and you can go out and take a look at the birds. You could get lucky and you can see the blue jays, or my favorite, the red-headed woodpeckers, or lots of ibises. Or this morning, I found a golf course filled with those Egyptian geese. Now, you don't need... Actually, they were also blocking the road like this.
Too much. So, and if you need a pair of binoculars for moon night, you still got two days. Get out to Dania and go do it.
That's true. Well, a lot of the branches have the backpack. So, yes.
Yeah.
You can always
come take a look, guys.
Birding backpack for the binoculars to look up at the moon. Good thought.
And out at Markham Park, there's an observatory out there to go out there and take a look if you need. If you want to do something a little bit more advanced and leave your backyard. Let's throw up our last slide. We're going to keep on going too long. Thank you, everybody, for being here. If there's a favorite librarian or library you want to see featured, creationstation@broward.org. We'll see everybody next week. Have a great day.